Hi everyone, it's me, Darlene. I am back with another quilt. I will be making just the quilt top. You are free to make the entire quilt. I have a new pattern for you guys. Go check out episode 1 and I talk about that a little bit. It's not, a design that I came up with. There's a lot of spiral half square triangles, but I did come up with the pattern to make it a little bit easier to, know how to lay things out without having to try to figure it all out on your own. And I'm also going to show you how you can adjust this. I will not be making this whole thing because that would just take too long. So I'm going to be cutting it and I will show you that in a little bit. I also wanted to explain this pattern is available to my patrons and YouTube members. All you have to do is be a patron at the $1 per month level and it gets you my patterns. You don't necessarily need the pattern if you want to just see what I'm doing and you think you can figure out the spiral all on your own. You are welcome to do that. In this pattern, I explain the different sizes you can get by starting out with different size squares. I have 4 options for you guys, like all the way up to king size quilt. And again, if the dimensions aren't exactly what you need, you can cut a row off or a column off, or you can add. As long as you, can keep the spiral pattern going, you'll be good. Here's the deal for me. I had some leftover batiks and I wanted to pick through that. I had this brown that I knew I would have enough of, but I had a green that I really wanted to use and I just didn't have enough. I don't have a lot of yardage because I sold it all. So this color gold, I have enough. So that's what I'm going with. I have decided to do 6.5-inch squares. In the instructions with my pattern, I give you the dimensions of this whole thing. If you were to make this whole thing like you're seeing it, I give you the sizes and the instructions for 8-inch squares, when you start out with 8-inch squares before it's a half square triangle, just what you cut to make your half square triangles with. 8-inch, 6.5, 5, and even 3.5 in case you want something smaller. And so I'm going to just get started by cutting. I have cut some, and I'm going to cut some more, and I'm going to take you to the sewing machine and show you how easy it is to whip up some half square triangles. I'm sure most of you know that, but some of you might not. And then I will show you how I'm going to be putting this together. Oh, where's my cut one? Hang on. So like I said, I only want to make a portion of this, and I like things that are not centered. I actually kind of like this though, but this is what I'm going with. See how the spiral starts here in the bottom corner, more or less, and then just goes out that way. So what I did is I just cut this piece out right here. So I'm just making this portion like that. And you can do the same if you want to make something smaller and just, cut wherever you want. So this is what I'm making. 6.5-inch squares is what I'm starting out with. For every 2 half square triangles, you need 2 squares of fabric. So I need 1 brown square and 1 gold square to make 2 half square triangles. I have a quick change of plans. I actually edited the beginning of this video, and on camera I didn't care for this. It doesn't look spirally enough. It's too far here. So I adjusted. This is beat up because I printed another one and I folded it in a bunch of different ways so I could see where I wanted to cut. So this one is just like 1 in and 1 down. So it starts there. And it adjusts it just enough to make the spiral more prominent. You can see the difference. So I like this better. Like I said, you can cut any portion of this out that you want, or you can go ahead and make the whole thing. All right, let's cut some fabric. I'm doing 6.5-inch squares, so I want 6.5-inch strips. Let me cut a brown one and a gold one. Oh, and in the pattern instructions, I tell you how much fabric you need for each size, how many squares you need of each, you know, how many of dark, how many of light for each size. I give it as much information as I possibly can. So there's one strip. Let me cut the gold. I would never just cut a couple strips at a time. You know, I will be cutting all the strips I need. But now I'm going to cut my squares 6.5 inches. And so I'm putting my fold just over, right here, just over the 19.5 inch mark. And that's going to create some little sticks when I trim. I plan for what the scraps are going to be like. So I'll be cutting on the 0, on the 6.5, the 13, and the 19.5. What I'm going to do is take my light ones. Now with batiks, it's hard to tell on some of them if it's right side or wrong side. But when you cut, each side is the right side. So I'm just going to open it up like this. Now I know this is the wrong side of each. I'm going to take a pen and draw a line from corner to corner. You can use just a regular pencil or a pen. We are cutting on that line, so it's never going to show. But I don't use like a Sharpie because I don't want it to go through to my mat or to just bleed in the fabric. So we do that on every light piece. Try to get your line to go, you know, right from corner to corner. Let me do that, and then I'll meet you at the machine. Here we are. I am going to be sewing a gold to a brown, right sides together. For these, like I said, when you cut, each side is the right side. So now, instead of doing this, that gives me the wrong sides, I'm going to split it but flip it. So now I know these are the right sides of the browns. I'm going to put the gold with my line up, because then I know this is the right side. So right sides are touching. And you don't have to use batik for this, but batiks are so, I just love them. They're smoother, they don't fray, so they're good. Now I'm going to sew 1/4 inch on each side of the line, but I'm going to be doing chain piecing. I'll show you that. My foot happens to be 1/4 inch. I'm going to have the left side of my foot going along the line. So I'll be on the right side of the line. It's very easy. Let me cut my little tag off. I will get my next piece ready. This is the right side. And then I want my line up. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to send this next one through, but first I'm going to wait until I'm almost off the edge. Now I can stick my corner right there at the edge of this of my foot. And just so they don't all just drag, I like to snip it off right away. I'm going to get these all right side up. And I'm just going to send these all through like that. So I did one side. Now I'm going to turn around and I'm going to do the other side of this line on all the squares. Same thing, just going to send them all through. Now we just cut each square on the line. You can use your scissors or your rotary cutter. I'm going to press my seam to the dark side. So I have my dark side up and I flip and I'm going to finger press. You don't want to stretch it too much. Just kind of press And then I will just be taking these all to the ironing board. Going to do that to all of these. We just made 12 blocks together, and I had made 12 before. This is all I've gotten done so far. Here's how I'm going to put this together. I'm just going to probably do rows, one row at a time. So I'm going to look at it in my direction, so you're just looking at it sideways. But I can see my first square, the dark brown, the dark, has to be bottom right. The next one, the dark, is going to be top left. So you're just going to use the pattern to lay out your half square triangles. The next one, it's dark at the bottom, like this. And then dark at the top, this way. Is that right? That is correct. And then the next one, we're going to start creating our first point. It needs to be this way. And I'm just going to lay them out. You know you can't really see. Let me do a little bit of the next one. All right, so it's going to go this way, and you'll be able to see a little bit as I come in and light. Oh, this is going to be so cool and so easy. You know, I worry when I make these patterns because I've never made it before. I don't know if it's doable or not. Oh, I think you guys are going to like this one. Gee, I probably wouldn't have had to make it as wide. Okay, now something doesn't look right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, I got it wrong. It's got to go that way. You can see the point starting. Can you see that? See? And I had it like this or something. I don't know. I had it wrong. Nope, that's not right. So you do want to just pay attention to the pattern. I think I'm going to like this with the gold and the brown, even though it's not my green. Here's the deal. I am going to cut all my strips, all my squares, and make all my half square triangles. Then I have to do is lay them out. So let me get all that done. I'm going to stop here for tonight. The next video, we should be wrapping things up. And if I think of anything I need to tell you between now and then, well, maybe I'll remember to tell you then. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Bye!